In this video, we will explore the dark and terrifying history of the old, abandoned house that has been shrouded in mystery for so many years. Join us as we take a journey through time, delving into the stories of those who dared to enter the house, and those who never came back. Will we uncover the truth behind the curse that has been haunting the town, or will we too fall victim to the evil that lurks within the walls of the old, abandoned house? Watch and find out. The old, abandoned house on the edge of town had always been shrouded in mystery. For years, people whispered about the strange noises coming from the house at night, and how the lights flickered on and off, even though there was no one living there. The house had been there for as long as anyone could remember, and no one knew who had built it or why it had been abandoned. But one day, a group of teenagers dared each other to explore the creepy house. They had heard the stories, but they didn't believe in ghosts or anything like that. They were just looking for a thrill. As they approached the house, they felt an eerie presence. The air was thick with a musty scent, and the only sound was the creaking of the old wooden floors. They hesitated for a moment, but then they decided to go inside. The house was dark and silent. They could hear their own breathing and the rustling of their clothes as they moved cautiously through the rooms. It was as if the house was alive and watching them. As they made their way deeper into the house, they stumbled upon an old diary. The pages were yellowed and torn, but the words were still legible. The diary belonged to a young girl named Abigail who had lived in the house with her parents many years ago. The more they read, the more they realized that something terrible had happened in the house. Abigail had been tormented by an evil entity that had possessed the house. Her parents had tried to protect her, but they too had fallen victim to the entity's wrath. Suddenly, the teens heard a blood-curdling scream. It was coming from upstairs. They scrambled up the creaky staircase and found themselves in a bedroom. The walls were covered in old, faded wallpaper, and the bed was draped in cobwebs. In the corner of the room, they saw a figure. It was Abigail's ghost, and she was beckoning to them. As they approached, the ghostly figure vanished, and a deep, menacing voice filled the room. "You should not have come here," it growled. "You will never leave." The teenagers tried to run, but the doors and windows were locked. They were trapped. As the sun began to set, the evil entity took hold of them. Their screams echoed through the empty halls of the house, and the lights flickered on and off. But that was only the beginning of the horror. The next day, the parents of the missing teens reported them as missing. The police launched an investigation, but they could find no trace of the teenagers. It was as if they had vanished into thin air. As time went on, more and more people went missing in the town. Some of them were never found, while others turned up dead, their bodies mutilated and torn apart. The town was in a state of panic, and people started to talk about a curse that had been unleashed on the town. But no one knew what was causing the curse, or how to stop it. People started to avoid the old, abandoned house on the edge of town, afraid of the evil that lurked within. But the house was like a magnet, drawing people in with its dark allure. Over time, the house became a legend, a place where people went to prove their courage, or to tempt fate. Some of them came back unscathed, but others were never seen again. The house became a place of sacrifice, where people went to appease the evil entity that had taken hold of the town. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and be sure to tune in for more tales of the unknown and the unexplained.